Thank you. Senator Booker.
I'm grateful. I think if anything we're hearing in this committee is the urgency for a market structure bill that provides the appropriate regulation. I want to jump in right away, though. Mr. Mossad, you said something that to me maybe was an understatement. I never imagined in my life I would see the President of the United States create a digital asset that is open to being purchased, a meme coin that could be purchased by anybody, anywhere, from our adversaries, our rivals, from people trying to curry favor with the United States, from people who are looking for military deals, and to literally sell seats to a dinner at the White House, at the Americans' one of the more sacred civic spaces. To me, this amounts to a level of galling corruption never, ever before imagined that could happen in our country, and we're normalizing it. It is corrupt, it is dangerous, it is an attack on our democracy, it's a violation of the Emoluments Clause, and it is undermining this industry as a whole. Would you agree with me that my language is probably perhaps more appropriate?
I would totally agree with you, and I've said similar things. The meme coins are a perfect bribery tool because they're out there. Someone can buy them and therefore, provide essentially money to the president, yet still claim, well, I'm just speculating on a meme coin.
Would you agree that the way our Constitution was designed, the legislative branch is supposed to provide checks and balances and oversight? And the fact that the United States Senate, has not had one oversight hearing of this corruption is a surrendering of our obligations and duties under the Constitution.
It's shocking to me. I mean, he's making billions of dollars, not just from the meme coin, but from his own stable coin. Even the meme coins have been called by the creator of Ethereum. The creator of Ethereum has called them a bribery tool.
I think it's appalling that Congress has laid down. I think it is extraordinarily dangerous. And I
would agree.
am beyond frustrated that we are normalizing this level of corruption in America and have the most corrupt president imaginable who is making hundreds and hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars, profiting off of the presidency at the very national security risk that it proposes to our country, when he can make decisions that affect truly the safety and security of our country, as many of these countries are trying to curry favor and have deals. That doesn't even begin to mention the Trump hotels and all the other things that he is doing that truly undermine any idea of what it means to operate in the presidency with integrity. I want to jump really quick, Mr. Benham, because I'm very deeply engaged and involved in trying to make sure that we land something that could deal with a lot of the challenges. The one thing that hasn't been discussed, as you and I talked about this ad nauseum, is the CFTC's capacity to regulate this area. Right now, we have seen budget requests for a 2.9% decrease in funds from its 2024 request and a 5.1% decrease in personnel, which is on top of cuts made earlier this year by DOGE that threatens the CFTC's ability to oversee the $120 trillion equity and debt markets it's already responsible for, without even adding the growing crypto market into the equation as is envisioned. The House's Clarity Act would expand the CFTC's jurisdiction without a single additional dollar. It will create chaos for retail consumers in our markets, I believe both crypto and in traditional finance. Am I right to be outraged that this is how we're starting without understanding the resources that would be necessary to do what a lot of us are envisioning?
Senator, short answer is yes. I mean, the number one priority, if we're going to authorize new authority for an agency, the CFTC here, is funding and resources so that it can execute those responsibilities.
Well, I will tell you this right now. I want to lean in a bipartisan way and craft market regulation. But this is what I see right now. I see senators and congresspeople trading stocks and bonds, people who are involved in the crypto world. I see, again, I have legislation with a number of other senators that really say very clearly that we should be doing everything we can as a matter of integrity to stop corruption, that we should introduce and pass the End Crypto Corruption Act, which would make sure the president, vice president, senior executive branch members of Congress and their immediate families, that stops them from financially benefiting from issuing, endorsing, or sponsoring crypto assets such as meme coins. So we have this air of corruption that undermines the integrity of Congress and the presidency at a level of corruption we have never seen before. And the very regulatory bodies that should be overseeing these massive markets is being starved of resources to even do the jobs they're doing right now. Any serious effort to engage in the kind of a market structure bill we are having without putting the resources that we've discussed in the past. In the bill that we had in the last Congress, a bipartisan bill, we had a way of addressing this. And so there are a lot of structural problems I have right now, and the level and possibility of corruption, of scams, of people that could get hurt if we don't do this right is stunning to me, not to mention the very foundations of our democratic system so that we don't become some corrupt banana republic where presidents and senators and congresspeople can bilk the American people by bending the rules, corrupting the rules for their own benefit. We have got to do things different.
In a heated exchange during the committee hearing, Senator Cory Booker, Democrat, New Jersey, expressed deep alarm over what he described as an unprecedented level of corruption tied to President Trump's involvement in creating and profiting from a cryptocurrency, Trump coin, also known as \$ Trump. He condemned the idea that a sitting president could launch a publicly traded memecoin, openly available for purchase by anyone, including foreign adversaries, rivals, and individuals seeking to gain influence with the United States. Booker called the move a direct threat to democracy, a violation of the Constitution's Emoluments Clause, and a dangerous precedent that could compromise national security. Booker argued that memecoins function as ideal bribery tools because purchases can be masked as speculation while effectively funneling money to the president. He criticized the Senate for failing to hold a single oversight hearing on the issue, calling it a surrender of Congress's constitutional oversight responsibilities. The senator emphasized that President Trump was not only profiting from Trump coin but also from a personal stablecoin, potentially amassing billions of dollars while allowing foreign actors to influence policy decisions. Referencing additional business ventures such as Trump hotels, Booker claimed these activities collectively undermine the integrity of the presidency. He further warned that the very agencies tasked with regulating financial markets are being starved of resources. The Commodity Futures Trading Commission, CFTC, already facing significant budget and staffing cuts, is expected to take on expanded oversight of the growing crypto market under the House's Clarity Act, without receiving any new funding. Booker stressed that any new market structure legislation must ensure adequate funding for regulatory bodies like the CFTC. He announced his push for bipartisan cooperation on such a bill, while also promoting the End Crypto Corruption Act, which would prohibit the president, vice president, senior executive branch members, and members of Congress, as well as their immediate families, from financially benefiting from issuing, endorsing, or sponsoring cryptocurrencies such as memecoins. He concluded with a stark warning: without decisive action, proper regulation, and the necessary resources to enforce it, the nation risks devolving into a corrupt system where political leaders exploit public office for personal enrichment, weakening the foundations of American democracy.